Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
You know that feeling, right? You walk into a room, keys in hand maybe, and suddenly, poof, why did you even come in here? It happens to everyone, but as we get older, those little memory slips can feel more frequent, maybe even a bit worrying. They can start to impact, your independence.
Absolutely. And that concern, that fear of decline, it's really driving this huge market for memory supplements. You see people reaching for everything, basic multivitamins, omega-3s, those fancy amino acid blends. Everyone's looking for something to protect their brain function, maybe even turn back the clock a bit.
Right. So our job today is to cut through all that marketing, all the promises. We've looked at the sources, the studies, to figure out what the actual science says, what really works for supporting brain health as you age.
What's fascinating here, I think, is how the biology of the aging brain really fuels the search. It's not just some vague decline. We're talking about real measurable changes, things like slower blood flow in the brain, some damage accumulating in brain cells over time, even shrinkage in certain areas important for cognition.
Okay, let's dig into that a bit. So the sources are saying these common memory issues are tied directly to these physical changes in the brain.
That's the connection, yes. Slower blood flow, cell damage, maybe some inflammation, and that gradual shrinkage. It all adds up.
And it's understandable why people get worried.
Exactly. Because while forgetting your keys is one thing, significant memory problems can sometimes be an early warning sign for conditions like Alzheimer's. So when people are proactively looking for supplements, it's often not just about feeling sharper day to day. It's also about trying to head off something more serious down the road.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about what people are actually taking. Starting with maybe the most common and affordable one, multivitamins. Why are they so popular for brain health?
Well, they're everywhere, they're relatively inexpensive, and they cover a lot of nutritional bases. The idea is they support overall health, and many of those micronutrients, like B vitamins or antioxidants, are definitely important for nerve function and general cell health, including in the brain.
And here, unlike some other areas we'll discuss, there's actually some solid research, right? Recent big clinical trials.
Yes, this is where we have some of the clearest evidence. These large, well-designed studies found that taking a daily multivitamin actually helped slow down that typical age-related memory decline.
Slowed it down. How significant?
It was noticeable. For instance, some people in the study showed improvements in immediate recall, their ability to remember something right after they learned it.
Okay, immediate recall. That's quite specific. Did they put a number on it?
They did. For some participants, the researchers calculated the cognitive benefit was like turning back the clock about 2 or 3 years on their memory aging.
Wow, 2 to 3 years. That sounds pretty substantial, especially compared to some of the hype out there.
It is. In a field full of, frankly, exaggerated claims, having that kind of measurable effect is significant. The thinking is it might help protect brain cells, maybe buffer against some deficiency-related issues or oxidative stress.
But it wasn't a miracle cure, was it? Were there limitations noted in these studies?
Oh, definitely. A really crucial point was that the benefits seemed to level off after about a year. They plateaued.
Plateaued after a year. What does that suggest?
It suggests that maybe the multivitamins are effective at correcting underlying, perhaps mild nutrient deficiencies that were dragging down brain function. But once those levels are sort of topped up and stable, you don't keep getting more and more benefit. They seem to protect or restore, but maybe not endlessly boost an already well-nourished brain.
Okay, that's a really important distinction. Protection versus enhancement. All right, let's shift gears then. Away from the steady, maybe modest effect of multivitamins towards things that often get marketed much more heavily as specific brain boosters. Let's talk omega-3s and fish oil.
Right, omega-3s.
Yeah.
Hugely popular. And there's good biological reason these fats are essential for brain structure and development. The marketing often focuses on supporting brain repair and improving blood flow, which, as we said, is relevant to age-related decline.
Okay, so the biological basis makes sense. But what about the evidence? If you take omega-3 supplements, does it actually improve memory in older adults who might already be experiencing decline?
This is where it gets really fuzzy. The evidence is just very mixed. Some studies have found maybe tiny improvements, almost negligible, really. But then Quite a few other large, rigorous trials found basically no significant difference at all in memory or cognitive function compared to a placebo.
So not the clear win that the marketing might suggest.
Not at all. Based on current evidence for memory improvement specifically, we really need more research before we can confidently recommend them across the board for that purpose. They're good for general health, yes, but for reversing memory decline, the jury is still very much out.
Okay. And quickly, what about amino acids? They get mentioned sometimes too.
Yeah, amino acids are the building blocks for proteins, and your body uses them to make neurotransmitters, those crucial brain chemicals. So they're fundamentally important. But taking extra amino acids as supplements, specifically to boost memory or cognitive function, the strong scientific evidence just isn't there right now. A balanced diet with enough protein usually covers your needs.
Got it. So multivitamins show some promise, omega-3s and amino acids less so, or at least the evidence is shaky. Now let's tackle the big budget category. Those heavily advertised, often quite expensive, commercial supplements. You know the ones like Prevagen gets mentioned a lot? They promise big, fast results.
Ah, yes, the ones you see constantly on TV. They often have unique, sometimes proprietary ingredients, and they really play on that hope for a quick fix, a magic bullet, and they tend to be costly.
And what do the more objective sources say? We looked at reports from AARP, Harvard Health, Mayo Clinic. What's the consensus there?
It's pretty strong and pretty consistent across those respected organizations. They essentially say there's insufficient evidence to back up the dramatic claims made by many of these products. If there are studies cited, they're often small, maybe funded by the company itself, not independently verified, or they have methodological weaknesses.
So basically, buyer beware.
Very much so. They're often oversold, promising the moon. But the reality is they likely don't deliver significant benefits for most people. It can be an expensive gamble with very little chance of payoff.
That's a stark warning. And it brings up another critical point. Safety. Just because you can buy these things over the counter doesn't mean they're harmless, does it?
No, absolutely not. And this raises a really important concern for anyone considering these. Supplements can definitely interact with prescription medications you might already be taking that could be dangerous, or just make your other treatments less effective. They can also cause side effects on their own. And, the regulation isn't always as strict as it is for drugs, so quality control can be an issue. What's on the label might not be exactly what's in the bottle or in the stated amounts.
So the bottom line advice there is clear, I assume.
Absolutely crystal clear. Talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before starting any new supplement, especially if you have existing health conditions or take other medications. It's just crucial for safety.
Okay, essential advice. Now, before we wrap up with the practical takeaways, there was an interesting finding in the sources about who tends to use these supplements. It wasn't necessarily who you might first expect.
That's right. The data suggests that seniors who use memory supplements often tend to be highly educated, generally in pretty good health already, and really motivated to maintain their mental sharpness. They're proactive people. They're seeking solutions. They're willing to research and willing to invest time and money to try and slow down cognitive decline.
That proactive mindset is great, but the key is channeling that energy towards things that are actually proven to work, right? So if someone listening is motivated, what is the best science-backed approach to preserving memory function?
The most effective strategy, based on all the evidence, is really a holistic lifestyle approach. That has to come first, before any pills. So, number one, focus on a healthy diet. Lots of antioxidants, healthy fats like omega-3s from fish, vitamins from leafy greens, berries, things like that. Getting nutrients from food is almost always better.
Makes sense. Diet first. What else?
Stay physically active. Exercise is huge. It improves blood flow to the brain, which we know is critical for protecting brain cells and function. And alongside that, stay mentally engaged. Keep learning new things. Challenge your brain with puzzles or games. Maintain strong social connections. It's like exercise for the mind.
Diet, physical activity, mental engagement, the classic pillars of healthy aging. And then, if someone wants to add a supplement on top of that healthy foundation.
Well, based on the evidence we discussed today, if you're going to choose one, the multivitamin seems like the most sensible bet. It's affordable, it's generally safe when used appropriately, and it has that clinical data showing a modest but real protective effect against age-related decline. It's a much more evidence-based choice than spending a lot on those unproven commercial products.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this deep dive then. It sounds like multivitamins show some real, measurable potential for slowing down memory decline, maybe turning back the clock a couple of years, as those studies suggested. But many of the heavily marketed expensive brain boosters, The evidence just isn't there to support the hype.
That's the core takeaway.
So the best defense is that combination. Definitely talk to your doctor, prioritize nutrition, stay active in body and mind.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? It means fundamentally there's no magic pill. Your daily lifestyle choices are your most powerful tools for protecting your cognitive health.
Right. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. We heard that the people often taking these supplements are already motivated, educated, and actively trying to stay sharp. So consider this. Could the very act of being proactive, the effort involved in researching options, learning about brain health, engaging with strategies to stay sharp, could that mental effort itself provide a cognitive benefit, kind of regardless of whether the specific pill works?
That's an interesting point.
Perhaps that will to learn, that drive to stay engaged and optimize. Maybe that's the most important nutrient of all for the aging brain. Something to think about.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.